Hey, it's Joe Amoia, founder and creator of GPSforLove.com. Do you believe that chemistry is a prerequisite to a great relationship? Do you believe that chemistry is something that absolutely positively has to be there in the very beginning? And if it's not, it's time for you to move on because it's not the right guy for you. Well, if so, I want you to pay close attention because in today's video, what you're going to learn is that chemistry is overrated. That's right, chemistry is overrated. Now, before you start sending me emails and say, Joe, you don't understand, I got to feel something, please hear me out. Please commit to watching to the end of this video because I'm not saying that chemistry isn't important, but what you're going to understand is that chemistry is not only overrated, it's misunderstood. See, chemistry is like a drug for most people. It's like there's this short-term high, it's great, it's exciting, it's fun, and then all of a sudden it wears off. And then you're sitting going, oh crap, why am I not in the relationship I really want? See, so if you're sitting here going, chemistry is absolutely important, I've got to have it, I want you to ask yourself this question. How many of those guys that you had great chemistry with are still in your life? How many of those guys that you had great chemistry with turned out to give you the relationship that you really wanted? If you're really honest, you're going to go, none of them. Okay? Now, that's not a judgment. It's simply an observation. Because once you understand that chemistry is like a drug and it only lasts for a little time, then you can start looking for what's really important. Now, you also need to understand is that chemistry is not an essential ingredient in a long-term relationship. Now, is physical attraction important? Absolutely. Is sexual compatibility important? Absolutely. Is your ability to work together and be compatible in this thing called life important? Absolutely. Is having the same morals, values, and goals and being on the same page and working together important? Absolutely. Those things are essential. Chemistry is not. And the reason why is chemistry is often misunderstood. So if you're sitting here and you're the type of person who says, I got to have that chemistry. I've got to feel it on the first date. You know what? That's great in the beginning, but that's not going to be what it's like 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades from now. The reason being is that if you think chemistry is this all-important vital thing, this high, what you're really looking for is the physical attraction. That's what it is. This person is just so attractive to you. And there's just something about it. Your hormones, your estrogen levels, your oxytocin all kick in and you're not thinking clearly. And it's also the emotional connection. Very often I hear, we like the same things. We have the same passions. Again, that's great. But here's a question for you. When you have that great chemistry and you don't have all those other things, when your mortgage is due, go to the bank and say, you know what? I know my mortgage is due today, but me and my boyfriend, we've got great chemistry. It's just amazing. When we're together, sparks fly. And see how far that really gets you. When you're doubled over in pain and you need to go to the emergency room at 3 o'clock at night and your boyfriend's an hour away, okay? See how far chemistry is going to get you if he doesn't get his ass back to you to take you and to be there by your side. See, again, I'm not saying that physical attraction is important. I'm not saying having an emotional connection is important. But what you need to understand is what real chemistry is. Not this phony chemistry, but real chemistry. Because see, in life, there's 2 types of chemistry, good and bad. It's kind of like, I took chemistry back in high school. And, if you mix certain chemicals together, you got a great chemical reaction. However, if you mix the wrong chemicals together, you got a bad reaction and usually an explosion. So you've got to understand there's good and bad chemistry. Now, real chemistry, good chemistry, is the physical attraction, it's the emotional connection, and the last thing is the compatibility. Are you on the same page? Can you work together? Can you love each other? Can you support each other? Can you honor each other? Can you be faithful to each other? All those things that show you, is this relationship going to last through this thing called life? Because as you've heard me say many, many, many times, is that it's great once you get the guy. But then there's this thing called life. And life is going to throw stuff at you. And your ability to love each other, to support each other, and work together is ultimately going to determine how your relationship survives and how it grows. Because those things that life throws at you, if you're not with the same person, with the right person, and you're not compatible, it's actually like rifts on the ice. It's just going to get deeper and wider until eventually it collapses and everybody falls in and drowns. So Here's a question for you. Here's some mirror time. I want you to get really honest and ask yourself, have you been focusing too much on chemistry? Are you now realizing that chemistry is something different than you thought it was? Well, if so, I want you to scroll down to the box below and write down how this video is going to change your perspective and help you as you go forward in your love life. So go ahead, take that mirror time, answer that question, put your questions, comments, and feedback in the box below, and I'll see you next time. Much love.